I wanted to show a little example of one of the reasons why I really like using these MoTeC dashes in our race car applications. Most people look at a dash like a race pack or an AIM dash or a MoTeC dash or a Holly dash and they're like, oh, they're all the same. They just show, RPM and pressures and stuff. But there's actually quite a bit more to these dashes as far as what their capabilities are. So I'm going to show an example today that I'm setting up for one of our race cars. We have a race car that has a Penske shock in the rear that has a CO2 assisted rebound valving in it. So basically what that means is that we use CO2 to change from between two different valve settings for the rebound. One for the launch, and then once we launch we actually release the CO2 and it switches over to a different valving. So what I'm going to do is kind of show you how we're doing this with the dash. So this dash has additional inputs and outputs that you can use for other functionality. As you can see, this thing is pretty loaded. I got tons of stuff going on in here. So we'll go here to my output pen and we'll see that my aux output number 1, which is a low side output, is enabled, and I've created a custom channel called Shock Lock, and it's an on-off style channel. The output mode, sorry. So you have options, on-off light, duty cycle, frequency control. There's a bunch of different types of output modes you can use with these, depending on what you're trying to do. And then you can say whether it's, low voltage on, high voltage off, whatever, however you want to set it. Alright, so all that set. Then what I did is I came in here and I created a 3D table. And on my x-axis I have throttle position, which you can see here it goes 25, 50, 75, 76, 100. And then on my y-axis I've got my launch time, which is coming in from the Pro EFI via CAN bus, and I've got my axis and my breakpoint set up here for my launch timer, and basically from the second I launch the car all the way till whenever I want to make it, wherever I need the resolution to be, I can change this however I want. And then this is my shock lock channel, which basically activates that output. So now I'm able to come in here and create a table. So below 75% throttle angle, no matter what the timer is, the shock lock is off. As soon as he goes to 76% throttle or greater, and the timer is below this value here, 1.2, the CO2 will actually be applied to the shock. And then once you pass, this is actually going to kind of interpolate a little bit, but so it'll probably actually shut off about 1.25. It'll be completely off. It'll shut off the CO2. Now I can obviously change these breakpoints. I could make this 1.21, 1.201 or this one 1.201, so it's like within 100 of a second or a tenth of a second, however I want to do it. But I don't think with this particular situation that it needs to be that accurate. But as you can see, having one of these dashes allows you to do a lot more than just log a bunch of data and have pretty color display, in your car. You can create up to 3 3D tables. There's also, you can do up to 3 2D tables, which in here I just created a basically a translation from kPa to PSI for the display. Originally, the older Pro EFI firmware version did not have a PSI output for manifold pressure, so in order to get PSI on the dash, I just created this conversion table, and I basically subtracted the atmospheric in the conversion table, so that instead of showing absolute pressure, it would show gauge pressure. So those are just some of the cool things about the dash, on top of the logging capability. I mean, if you look here, you can see how many channels I'm actually logging in this dash. That's all information coming from the Pro EFI via CAN, the PDM unit, which is the power distribution module, which controls all the electrical devices inside the car, and you can see I can load the, right now I have it set up to log the current, the status, and the load of each channel that I'm actually using in the PDM. And also, where is it? Somewhere up here. I've also got my TC8 thermocouple amplifier coming in here over CAN. So all these things are coming in over CAN. The only thing that isn't coming in over CAN is the suspension shock pots, which are wired directly to the analog inputs, and then also my Excel stuff is built into the dash, so I'm logging that here. But if you can see down here, I've got 191 out of 1,000 allowed channels logging, and it will log for approximately 5 hours and 16 minutes, which is pretty good. So as I do more stuff with these dashes, and I'll make some more videos kind of showing. I've actually got some pretty complex configurations on a couple of the other cars, so once I get some time to make a video, I will. Cool, thanks.